no one ever makes $1 billion. You take $1 billion.
That's myth one. Capitalists get rich by taking money from others.
Jeff Bezos has what, $100 billion? Yeah, his wealth is making a lot of people poor.
People assume that because they think
we have a finite amount of money.
A finite amount. So when they win, you lose. But that's not true, because entrepreneurs create new wealth. Research shows that when they got rich,
they only kept 2.2% of the additional wealth they generated for the economy.
Economist Dan Mitchell.
In other words, the rest of us captured almost 98% of the benefits.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Yes, Steve Jobs kept billions. But by creating Apple, he gave us more. So many new jobs. And he added billions to our economy, all by creating tech that makes our lives better.
I hope that we get 100 new super billionaires, because that means that there's 100 new people who have figured out ways to make the rest of our lives better off.
Let's abolish billionaires.
This former labor secretary says
entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos would be just as motivated by, say, $100 million or even $50 million.
Ooh. But he misses the most important fact about capitalism.
I'm not giving Jeff Bezos any money unless he's selling me something that I value more than that money.
Billionaires.
No one deserves to have that much money.
None of these zillionaires needs that much money.
If you put a cap on how much money someone can make, are they going to continue innovating? No. Maybe you just decide to take it easy. You retire. You sell a yacht around the world. You're going to start consuming instead of saving and producing.
When I say things like that, people call me a complete moron and tweet, more money in the richest hands means money sitting in the bank doing nothing. But that's an ignorant view of banks. In reality,
that money gets lent out,
which allows other people to build businesses, buy homes, get educated.
New machinery, tools, factories, equipment, technology.
Still, we hear
the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer.
That's myth too. The truth is that the poor and middle class are getting richer too.
The economic pie grows. We are much richer than our grandparents, and our grandparents were much richer than their grandparents.
For thousands of years, the world had almost no wealth creation. Then some countries tried capitalism.
You can see that per capita GDP is climbing and climbing and climbing.
Capitalists helped everyone, including the poor.
They do by bringing cheaper and better food to my supermarket. They do it by providing better goods and services.
So high-tech, it could only come from Motorola.
Look how communications changed. 25 years ago, phones looked like this. Then we got the BlackBerry, the iPhone.
Way smarter than any mobile device has ever been.
Now we have cheap smartphones. When the media say
the middle class is in decline.
America's middle class is in decline.
Well, they're right.
But they miss why.
It's shrinking because more and more people are moving into those upper income quintiles. The rich get richer in a capitalist society, but guess what? The rest of us get richer as well.
The average family today is almost a third richer than 40 years ago because capitalists compete to get our dollars. But before government protected us, I'm told unfettered capitalism created evil robber barons.
Collecting great riches at the expense of workers who toiled, often in dangerous conditions, for little pay.
But little pay compared to what?
When we look back upon factory life 100 years ago, we think, oh my God, that's terrible. Because by our standards today, it is terrible. But compared to toiling for 14 hours a day on a farm for half as much money, that stage of our economic development was practically nirvana.
Still, most people were poor while
the robber barons amassed a huge amount of wealth. Folks like John D. Rockefeller, who created the oil industry.
People still call Rockefeller a robber baron, but he wasn't born rich, and he didn't rob. Rockefeller got rich by inventing ways to deliver oil for less.
John D. Rockefeller kept lowering the price. That's why he got more market share.
No one was forced to buy his oil. And although the media implied that people suffered to support the fat cats, the entrepreneurs' innovations actually made almost everyone better off.
In the 1800s, the era of the so-called robber barons, we went from agricultural poverty to a country characterized by middle-class prosperity.
Cornelius Vanderbilt was another tycoon the anti-capitalist media called a robber baron. But he too was no baron. He was born poor. At age 11, he quit school to work on boats. Then he invented ways to make travel cheaper. He cut the New York-Hartford fare from $5 to $1. His competitors didn't bother because they were used to friendly politicians giving them subsidies. That's not capitalism. That's corporatism. Only when politicians leave capitalism largely alone does it create wealth.